So, Allie, in this episode of Don't Make Me Think, oops, we did it again. We might need to rebrand. This is basically what this channel is don't freaking make me think so much. We're going to get a lesson in mutual exclusivity, a real fun one, metadata, junction objects, consistent labeling. Oh my God. Oh my God. And why all of these are so important for UX designers. We're going to get a little help from our friends at meetup.com.
Oh, yes.
And basically, we're doing a heuristic evaluation on literally like one piece of metadata that probably should be 3 pieces of metadata, but I don't really know. I actually, unfortunately, I have like a little bit of a solution, but this is more like stating the problem, heuristic evaluation style. Meetup, y'all are going to need to pay us to solve this problem, okay? Because the other thing is like, I actually don't know the truth of how this is supposed to work. I messaged them in support. I have not heard back yet of like, what is actually supposed to be happening here? And so I don't really know. So there's really no way we can solve this problem because I don't know how it should work and how it's supposed to be working. So are you ready?
You need all the pieces of the puzzle. Let's dive in. I'm ready for it. Show me what you got.
Okay, so we're going to be going over this beautiful whimsical board, and I will link to the whimsical board downstairs in the description. But we're going to start over here. Okay, so we're going to start with the person object. Okay, a person in Meetup. They have a name like Rebecca or Sophia or Allie, right? And they got a lot of other information, picture, whatnot. They also have many events that they've attended. They've also had many events that they've attended as a host. They also have many events that they didn't go to, maybe. Mm-hmm. That didn't show up on my profile. So on my profile, I see these bad boys. I see a big list of all the events that I have little green check mark attended. And then some of them that, I was the event host. Okay. So this video, this episode, whatever you want to call it, is all about the status of a person at an event. And why this is so important, we'll get into that. Because this actually did mess me up last week when I was trying to send something out. So there is a very, very clear result of this being absolutely so confusing and making my life little harder, actually quite a lot harder. And if I'm dealing with it, I know that others are dealing with it. Okay. So we got a person that goes to events. Cool?
Cool. Yes.
Cool. Okay. So when we go into a member detail for a certain group, okay, so if I click on you within the context of OOUX Happy Hour, which y'all should all join OOUX Happy Hour. It's a meetup. We meet monthly-ish. If I go to you, I can see your attendance history.
Ooh,
okay, for just OOUX Happy Hour. All right, sure. So I can see all these that you went to. Are we already seeing a little bit of the crack showing here? Is attended the same thing as went? Like, this is one of these things that like probably, but by the end of this video, I promise, Allie, you're not going to be so sure, okay? You're probably like, yeah, nobody's head is going to explode. It's a little check. But this is a great for our UX writers out there. The UX writers are going to be like, this is the reason that I exist. Like, attended versus went. Okay, so we have a little bit and like different color too, and like a different check mark. So like from a design system perspective too, this is not great. Okay, so we have metadata here. We have the member since date. Cool. We've got the number of events went to / also RSVP'd going to. I don't know if you noticed that right here. / attended. So I am questioning here, are these the same thing? Attended, went, and RSVP'd going?
Well, 5, yeah, because it says 5 events attended, 5 RSVP'd going. Would I ever RSVP not going and then attended? I guess that's what would make the count different.
And so I had to experiment with this because this originally just said 6 RSVP'd going, And all these said went. So I went in and I went into this event and I marked you as didn't go. I hope you don't mind. Even though I think you did actually go to that. I marked you as didn't go. So, which is interesting, even though I marked you as didn't go, this is actually not true. Like you didn't RSVP that you didn't go. So it did end up correlating. So didn't go and RSVP not going, at least in this screen, is the same thing. Okay. All right. So, but we have this thing here. So this is where we're getting into the junction object, okay, which we'll talk a little bit more, which is basically where you have two objects and the relationship between those two objects has metadata and structure and even calls to action. So this thing here, whatever this is, I edit custom title. I can like be like, give you a different name or something. Change member role. Okay, so a role within the OOUX happy hour. Cool. And then remove from group. So I'm not like deleting Allie from Meetup. I'm removing Allie from the group. So there we end up with this thing that is basically all the stuff that you can do and the metadata on the relationship of the person and the group. Okay. And then there's also the person and the event. All right, which is this other junction object. Okay, so we've got we've got a junction object inside of a junction object. So
I love it.
This junction object here is Allie with the group, and then we have Allie with the event. Okay, which has this status on it. Okay, stay, Allie. I know you're with me. If you're watching, I hope you're staying with me here. Okay, so we got this. We got some cracks showing here. Let's keep going. So here we have the event. Okay, so this is the event that I just did last week, OOUX for decision making. There's a lot more metadata and core content. I was just really highlighting the attributes that really are relevant to this conversation. But of course, you have date and time, which would be on a pink sticky note. And then we've got has 0 to many people going to the event, which are actually members. So members, okay, so people relative to the group, and then attendees relative to the event. Okay, so we've got attendees 30. Okay. All right, cool. So it gets a little bit more complicated though, because once I hit manage here, I get this screen here. So these are just the two different tabs. I get 30 went and 2 didn't go. So I guess I have people going to the event, and then I have people who RSVP'd yes and people who RSVP'd no. So we've got people who went and people who didn't go. All right. So now I'm doing some math here and I'm like, okay. And this is all underneath the attendee list. So we have attendee list. So I would assume that I have 32 attendees. So what actually is an attendee? What is an attendee?
What's an attendee?
What is an attendee?
Well, I thought an attendee was they attended it. They went to it.
Okay.
Assuming this is a past event. Yeah. Like they. But you can search attendees.
Oh,
does that search? Okay, sorry.
Wait, what do you think would happen if I search attendees? Would I be able to see people who didn't go?
Okay, only because it says 30 attendees and I can see 30 went. I'm assuming attendees and went is the same. So I guess I would think if I searched attendees, it would just search the 30.
Right. But what if I had 500 people who didn't go and I wanted to search them?
Yeah, if I toggled to that, if I'm on the other tab, would I see I'm searching those 500? So shouldn't that... Oh,
let me show you what happens when you actually do search. So I could search this. This is an event you didn't go to. When I search Allie under the attendee list, hello, I get 3 Allies who are of no response within the attendee list. I mean, then it says group members, but like this does feel like when we're looking at the gestalt of this, attendee list is at the top. It's big, it's bold. Then we have the little gray thing of group members. So this is kind of cool because I can now add you. I can move to pay. Like let's say I wanted to just give you a free ticket, which is, it's kind of a hack, but I can go in there, which I've done before for folks where they're like, oh my gosh, don't everybody email me to go to the event for free. But you know, they do something nice for me or something like that. And I'm like, oh, I'll just go ahead and add you to the event. So I've used this before. So I can move you to, but I can also like
there. Yeah.
Yeah. And when I had another mishap with this exact same interface, where for the AI event, Allie, I don't know if you remember this, the drama behind that, where I ended up sending out the recording to everybody when people paid $37 to go to this event. And then I sent it out to the 4,000 people or 2,000, 3,000 people on OUX Happy Hour. It sent it out to everybody. And then I was using this to search who went, but it was bringing up all these people that didn't go. And I was so confused because this is and even in this, it says search attendees.
Or, oh yeah, like can you even filter that list once you do, if you did search Allie and say you got 50 people, can you then say, I want to see those that didn't go? Like, it looks like there's no way to filter there either.
So yeah.
It says manage attendees. I don't know. Okay.
Oh, and I don't even know. I clicked a button called manage attendees to even get here. So I don't even know. What is that? I never even noticed that drop down. I don't even know what that does. Oh, let's not go down that rabbit hole. I don't know what that does. So on another event, I did see there's also unpaid versus paid. This was under a didn't go section. And I can move to win. I can move to paid. I can also flag as a no-show. And what is the difference between saying, like, for example, over here, this is a really interesting one. If I'm in the attendee list of people who went, I can move to didn't go, or I could flag as a no-show. Like,
what's the difference?
What's the difference between this? Flag? Like, there's probably somebody had this idea and there was like requirement somewhere and they were like, oh, like, but I don't know what the difference is. Like, where's the manual? Like, I feel like I need to, this is like a word problem or something. Okay, so let's keep moving to the message. This is the reason for the season here, or the reason for the video. Like, this is what really got me. So when you create a message, title, the OOUX for decision making recording. I'm sending out the recording. This is the main reason that I am messaging people, is like, hey, you paid for this event. Here's your recording. So message body, here's the link to the recording. And I already got burned once by, I don't know, I think the system was bugging out or something, but apparently maybe I like didn't check this or something like that. I don't know, but it ended up sending out to everybody. I'm going to just blame Meetup because Meetup is buggy. But at this point, I'm like assuming that Meetup is not going to bug out. And now I have this: members who RSVP'd yes for this event and members who RSVP'd no. So my real question here is, do I check this box? Because if we go back to our attendee list, I want to make sure that Rebecca and Annette, who marked themselves as didn't go, even though they paid, they were just doing me a solid and saying, like, I'm not going to actually make it live. But even more so, they want the recording because they didn't make it live, right? So does this send to 30 and then this will send to 32?
Oh, yuck.
I don't know.
How do you know?
I don't know. I wasn't sure. Like, is it just going to be like, can somebody, if it's a paid event, can they not pay and also RSVP no? Like, I don't think so. And I just, does RSVP no, does that mean the same thing as didn't go and not paid? Can a member RSVP no and not pay? Like, yes, if it's an unpaid event, I know that they can, but if it's a paid event, I don't think they can. So here's another like logic crux here, is that like, if it is an unpaid event, you can RSVP no, and you can say like, I'm not going to go. I think that's was Jennifer here. She was, but this is a paid event too. So I don't need, it's literally, I spent an hour and 20 minutes trying to untangle this. Like, think about all the people who are just using meetup.com as hosts and are not spending an hour and 20 minutes trying to untangle this. They're just confused. They're just like not fully sure about what these things are, right? Yeah. So we're adding all this, going back to our favorite Zeigarnik effect, you're adding these open loops of like, is that the same thing? Is it not the same thing?
I'm losing trust in it. I mean, I really am. Who's the competitor to Meetup? Can I start using it? Is what I'm thinking right now.
Seriously, I have been on the edge. Meetup, hear me now. And we like to say like, oh, we like to be kind of nice. Maybe there's a good reason. I'm not being nice in this video. Like, there is no there might be having something to do with a wait list, because there's wait lists and we're not even going to get into wait lists. So there is complexity here, but you need to be able to wrangle the complexity, right? Like, this is something that what happened is different screens were designed by different people at different times and different words got used. And if you figure this out on an object map first and you just figure out what are the statuses that somebody can be and what do we label them? And then we're just going to keep those labels consistent all the way through. And even use consistent color coding, use consistent visual design as well, consistent icons to really pull that through. This would be really great here if they showed me a count too, right?
Yes,
To be like,
I was thinking that 30.
and
Two.
even let me click on it and see the people too, like actually
Yes,
connect it.
connect it
Who
back.
am I sending this message to?
Yep.
So just one other little thing here. Well, there's a couple other little things. Group has many past events. Then we have went.
It returns. Wait, is that a combination of the first two? Like it's the green that said attended and now it's
with like a little dotted line.
Love
Like,
that
what does the
shapeshift.
dotted line mean? Because
What
and I
is
know that
this?
it sounds like we're being so harsh, but like what does the dotted line mean? But like this is what the human brain does. When the human brain sees a difference between something or a color or like a different treatment or something, this is evolution, y'all, that like what we're going to do is we're going to try to ascribe meaning to it. Like, and then the dotted line does mean something actually, like semantically, it kind of means like, it's like, you know, could be there, could not be there, right? It's like a placeholder type thing. So when I first see this dotted line, I'm thinking like, it also looks clickable AF too. Like this is not clickable, like the drop shadow and everything. Like this is the clickable thing and this is the unclickable thing. Let's zoom in. Which one looks like it's something you should be able to click?
Yes. Yes. What?
What?
Styling nightmare. Okay.
Styling nightmare. Okay, but let's look at them all together, shall we?
Oh, I love it. Yes.
Okay.
Please.
So here's the junction object, the member / event junction object, like member within the context of an event. Like, what do you even call this? Is this an attendee? Is this an RSVP? I kind of like calling it an RSVP. You could even say, I have 30 RSVPs yes and 30 RSVPs no.
Yes.
So I like just calling this an RSVP. It might have an ID number. Probably it's not like, it would just pull up the name of the person. It would kind of feel like a person, but really it's a junction object. And then it has a status. And this is where things get really bad.
Oh, poor status.
Poor status.
I see this so often. Yeah.
Where what it's happening is it is adding together a bunch of things that are mutually exclusive. It's messing up mutual exclusivity and mutual inclusivity. So this is a tough one. I have a little bit of dyslexia. So this is tough for me. I had to write it out. So mutually exclusive is when you have two things that cannot be both true at the same time. They have to be exclusive. So paid and unpaid, mutually exclusive. You cannot be paid and unpaid at the same time, all right?
Yes.
Mutually inclusive means that they can exist at the same time. All right. So paid and didn't go are mutually inclusive. I could be paid, but also didn't go. Right. Like that was Rebecca.
This reminds me of like multi-select versus single select. Like, can I multi-select? No, you can only single select paid or unpaid, but you can multi-select and have it in like a database be they paid, they didn't go. There's multiples that you can have.
Multi-select though, the fun thing about multiple select though, is that still usually belongs in the same group. So like, a multi-select, multi-select. Oh my gosh, typing when people are watching, I can't do it. Oh, the gajillion people watching our channel and laughing at my typing. If you're watching, thank you. Thank you for watching. We love you. Okay.
We love you.
That would be something like, let's say on the group. So this would not be on the person, but an example on the group would be interest tags. So this is UX. This is AI. This is psychology. Oh, why did I pick psychology? Did I spell that? I think I did.
Yes.
I didn't spell that right. Did I? Oh, okay. So that's
more PSY.
Yeah. Okay. It's close enough. That's more like multi-select. While this is like two different, you want like two different groups of metadata. You want two different pink sticky notes when you're modeling this. So how I think
show me what you got here.
It would be something like this, like paid, yes, no, RSVP'd, yes or no, and then attended, yes or no. Okay.
Oh, interesting. Attending or attended. Okay, because depending on if the event is current or future past.
Right. And this is something that I can edit too. So like you can RSVP, yes, but I might like, especially for like an in-person event, or even like I might take a screenshot of that Zoom call and actually go through. I never did this as an organizer, but I can see some use cases where organizers would want this. And I think that's why it exists, is to say, okay, this person RSVP'd, yes, but they actually didn't attend. Like that's also for modeling the real world. Like that happens. Anybody who's ever hosted a big party knows you get a lot of people that say yes and then they don't freaking come, right? That is RSVP. Two mutually inclusive things. RSVP'd yes, but did not attend. Okay.
Yes.
And then there might be some conditional logic here too, which this is where things get dicey. And where you can say for a paid event, then only if you pay can you say yes or no. And that's why I'm like, like that gets, like, I would not include any conditional logic here. It's just like, did you pay? Did you not pay? Okay. If you're paid, you like maybe automatically say your RSVP'd yes, but then you could go in there and as the user, you can change your RSVP, but then this is for the organizer. So then we get into permissions too. Like the organizer edits this, right?
Oh,
but the user can edit that.
So you could pay, but then RSVP no, which is like, that's the instance where I just want the recording.
You just want the recording. Yeah. You're not going to, it's like doing the organizer a solid. I'm not going to be there in person, right? You're just saying, I'm not going to be there. That's it. Yeah. There's a good use case for all of these, but these are these are mutually exclusive, right? You can be paid or unpaid. You can't be RSVP'd yes and RSVP'd no. And you can't have went and didn't go, right? Those are all mutually exclusive groups, right? But then I can be paid, RSVP yes, and then Mark didn't go.
Yep. Okay.
Cool. And this is just showing here, like, okay, paid and unpaid was pretty consistent, but we've got RSVP'd going, RSVP'd yes versus no. And then this is where things really break down.
That's a good one.
Like, oh, geez, look at all this. And then members who went to the meetup, like, that's another thing. We didn't even talk about that. Let's just end with that one. Like isn't members who went to the event the same as members who RSVP'd yes? Like, I don't think it's working like how I modeled it. Like, I really don't know. So even figuring out who to send a message to in meetup.com is super freaking confusing. I kind of have an answer, but like this would also need to factor in the waitlist. I think a waitlist is another thing. That's another day for another episode. That's for when Meetup decides to pay us to actually fix this, because this is a big problem. And this is one of the many problems that meetup.com has. If you are a designer at meetup.com, my heart goes out to you. Let us know in the comments if this has tripped you up, if you have any other examples of this, of mutual exclusivity gone wrong, or just like labeling where things are labeled in different ways. We would love to hear about that.
Yes, we would. That's a great one, Sophia.
Cool. Thank you.
My brain's in a knot.
You're right. I know it hurts, doesn't it? And that's not what we want for our users. We do not want their brains to hurt trying to figure this out. And I'm like, let me zoom out again. Like, look at this mapping that I've done. Like, oh yeah, Meetup. Come on now. You should be ashamed of yourself that I had to map all of that, and I still don't really understand how it works. They need
some OOUX audits here, because whoa.
Oh my gosh. The original shapeshifter example from back in 2016, one of my very first unintuitive object presentations, it was the event on meetup.com. Beautiful shapeshifting going on. I mean, horrible shapeshifting. So that's another thing you can do if you're on Meetup. Go ahead, look for other things on Meetup. Let's just go at Meetup in the comments. I want to hear what else y'all find. And then Meetup, if you're a Meetup designer, I'm sure that you were up against it and you were working in very, very tight silos that y'all weren't talking to each other. So this is definitely, I am blaming leadership 100% for this problem and lack of OOUX.
Let's fix it. Let's fix it.
I know, after we were so mean and I'm like, come pay us money, but we'll be nice. All right. Cheers, y'all. Happy OOUXing.
Happy OOUXing. Bye.
Bye.